It's Nancy welcoming you to Garden Scroll. This morning my husband went down to get some pea pebbles to put around our picnic table that I told you we're trying to get the chairs set up a little and get it evened out where we can use it and enjoy it. So I was going to set it in the pickup, but then I thought, well, I could be looking at the flowers, so I did it. I don't usually do a lot of planting in the fall. I do a lot of transplanting, digging up things and moving them to different places. But I wasn't planning on doing any planting, but you know, those, what do you call them, where you see something and you realize you wanted it? Impulse buys, yes. Thank you to my husband for giving me that word. But okay, look what I found. I planted, I do not know how many of these. Look at this. This kind of has a trailing. This is a purple flash pepper. Sometimes it's called purple splash, but either way, it's beautiful. And just look at the color on this. I cannot get over the color on this. It has very little green. It does have some, but mostly it's like a purple that's so dark it's almost black, and these beautiful white with a lighter purple, and it trails. It's just the most beautiful plant. I don't know if there's a more beautiful plant to put in the garden, not just for fall, but I guess that's when it's season, when it really comes into its own. And look, it does have some tiny little peppers there, which I'm not excited about the peppers because of pepper's sake. I'm excited about the peppers because that's the seed. Even though I planted all the seeds I had and got none, I'm still excited that there's a hope of having this in my garden. I want this all over the place in my garden at some point. And then I also had to do this. This is a Plectranthus. Let me see what it says about the name of it. It says a Plectranthus Mona Lavender, and this is a beautiful plant in the fall too. And I try to keep some of this, but I did not this year. I didn't have any that made it through saving it through the winter, and then didn't have any to put out. But now I'm going to put this. I'll probably take little clips and put it in at least 3 different places besides just the one that's in the pot. So I love this plant anytime, especially in the fall. And then these are just my pansies, which I'm not a pansy person because I do take the winter off. I take the winter off except for the little things that I try to save inside the house, and I try to do house plants. And you know exactly how I do house plants, which the poor little things are very lucky if they get to live at all. If they get to live through the winter and come back out in the spring, then I'm so happy if they are. But look at this pretty pale yellow. I just love it. But I love them all, and I will try to get these in the ground today. And so I'm excited. The wind is up a little, and we have chances for rain and hail, which I'm trying to overlook that ladder in hopes that it will also overlook us. But I wanted to show you some of the places I put my new little plants. Okay, this one's not new, but it had a pretty glow. I thought I would just get it on here for you too. Isn't that pretty how that pink edge and purple center is coming out on that pretty copper colored orangey coleus. I had gone ahead and put my flowering maple abutilon, red tiger, in a bigger pot. And so I just went ahead and put my purple flash or purple splash pepper and the Plectranthus, I think it's Mana Lavender. I just love the coloring in this plant, and I just love the little plant. It's such a beautiful trailing or filler plant. And this, you remember, is where our pear tree used to be, right behind the picnic table, which we're still trying to get like we like it. It's much, much better, but it's still not bright. It's not easy enough to climb up the little slope that we made to get it all nice and even. Now the slope is too steep for climbing up, so I may get some stepping stones. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do for that, but then right back here was where the pear tree was. So it's totally gone now, and this just looks a little clearer, like a little clearing back there. Not that much. I thought it would look totally bare, but it doesn't, so it's not so bad. But I am hoping to get to put another pear tree there. My husband and his brother did a wonderful job taking the pear tree down for me, and it was a job, a deluxe job. But they got it done for me, and I do very much appreciate it. It would probably be there till I die if it was left up just to me. They also did break a few of my little garden art things. Mostly the thing that was broken in more pieces that I couldn't just glue back together was my little white cat that was laying down out there. But maybe I can use some foam filler and get it it'll never be back like it was, but I may be able to put it together, or I may not, because it did break in a lot of pieces. But it did save the head and the tail. So maybe if I could figure out some way to get the middle part of it to look halfway decent, I can put the other back on and it'll still be pretty. I'm hoping. I'm not promising that to myself, but I decided, well, if nothing else, I could use that for well, you broke my little cat, so you should let me have another pear tree. So, there you go. I might have to use that. I told my youngest daughter, and she said, that sounds like manipulation. And I said, yes it is. Sometimes you just have to revert to that if nothing else works. And I really do try not to do very much of that, but every once in a while, you just gotta pull out the big guns. Also notice that more of the mums are beginning to open up. This is where this little decorative swing with the birds on it was in our pear tree, and this is where it found a new home. We may not leave it here, but we probably will, at least for a while. There's not very many places for it, and this one, it will kind of knock you on the head when you go by. But I do kind of like it there, so I may end up leaving it there. And then my husband just set this little woodpecker right here. But he doesn't look bad. I may have to glue him in there so he won't just be falling out all the time, and I may leave him there if I don't determine that I've got a better spot for him. I found a new little stake that I also went ahead and purchased from for the garden, for the fall garden. The calabachoa is in full bloom today, looking great. I hope we do get some rain though. Everything is needing a little rain, even though I watered yesterday. That hand watering just only goes so far. And then my little bear that was in the pear tree found a new home in our little peach tree. And again, where the pear tree was, there's its stump. And we did get a new picnic table umbrella. I had to move my hardy geranium and my little ornamental onion, and I did put them back. There's a geranium, hardy geranium, and under each of these little stands, and then this greenery that you see here is the ornamental onion, and I had been planning on getting some more of that anyway, but when I dug it up, it had proliferated quite a bit, so I actually put it in several little pieces and put those around the picnic table. And not only did I put them there, but I also put a few, and I know it'll take them a little while to proliferate enough to make up a real showing, but I also put some over here on this side where I've been wanting to fill this area in. I was hoping that this little hydrangea would do well and just fill up most of that area itself, but it just is sitting there doing nothing, which is what several of my hydrangeas have done, and then they've ended up just disappearing. So I'm not sure why I'm having such trouble getting hydrangeas going, but hopefully one day I will. But in the meantime, I think these little ornamental onions, they're so pretty, and I think they're going to look great here. I'm not sure if my little I started this from just a gar that I already have, and I didn't put a root on it. I just trimmed it off and put it in rooting powder, and I'm trying to root it, but it may not. You can tell it looks like there's nothing green left there. On the other hand, I put one here, and our little resident rabbit chewed it down to nothing, but you can see there's green there, there's life there. It has made a root, and it probably will continue to make one until the hard freeze comes on, and then it'll come right back up in the spring, and we'll have a pretty little gar right there in that area. Actually, one of my little mums got broken off from this too, which I put it back in the ground too. I'm going to see if it will re-root. But if it doesn't, this one will eventually fill back out. And definitely the few little things that they destroyed, it was not anywhere in comparison to the work they did that helped me out to get that dead tree out of the garden. The chocolate plant is opening up its little white tufts a little bit more. I was beginning to wonder if they would. They seem to stay in a tight little cluster a lot longer this year than they normally do. And right here on the other side of this little hydrangea that I was showing you a minute ago is where I put that chrysanthemum branch that broke off. So we'll see if maybe it will root there, and I think it'll be pretty there. So I'm now sitting down at our picnic table, and it feels so good to be able to sit here and actually reach the table and just feel more comfortable sitting on it. It's not wobbly, it's not sloping, and it feels good. So hopefully we'll get it where we can enjoy it even more. I see we have a little hummingbird. I don't know if I can get it. The sun's in my eyes. I know he's there, but I don't know if I have him in focus. And I think he just flew away. I put my bougainvillea into a larger hanging pot. And of course I'll be bringing that in before too long. And I think it'll have a better chance of staying through the winter for me. I also put this little hibiscus into a bigger hanging pot that I can use either hanging or just set it down like it is right now. This little plant has bloomed so much for me, and I see that it has several other buds on there, which I don't know if our weather will hold out for it to get to bloom, but it could, so we'll hope that it will. I still say we're due a long and beautiful fall. That doesn't really mean we'll get it, but I like to pretend it does sometimes. I almost missed that little hibiscus bloom, the one I just showed you. But luckily I did get to see it, and not only to see it, but to show it to you. It seems like I did so much more when I was out here working, but maybe those 3 pots, surely I did more than 3 pots. And then I also did transplant a few things, but there's a lot more I would like to do, and I'm hoping that I'll get it done, but we'll see. There's just always so much to do, and I want to be able to do as much of it as I can and enjoy it as much as I can also. Please be sure to like and subscribe to the channel.